Hey guys, Mr. Victoria here. As we were talking about before, we were talking about the distributive property in mathematics. And so like we had talked about, if you have some kind of problem that says something to the effect of 3 times 4 plus 1, normally we can do that very easily just by adding up what's in the parentheses, 5, multiply that by 3, and we get 15. But sometimes we don't know what that is because it's a variable. So 3 times x plus 1. And we don't know what that x is. So in this case, we're going to have to solve it by doing the first term 3 times the first term in the parentheses. 3 times x is 3x. And then we're going to have to do the next term, 3 times 1, because that's the second property. 3. And there's a plus in the middle, so it becomes 3x plus 3. Or if we had 3 times x minus 1, we'd do much the same. 3 times the first value, 3x. Again, 3 times 1 is still 3, but this time there's a subtraction sign in between. So we have 3x minus 3. Now also keep in mind, so also remember, we can distribute from the other side. So if we had our x plus 1 with the 3 on this side, we're still going to distribute the same way. And we'll go 3 times our first variable, or 3 times our first term, 3x, 3 times our second term, 3, and again, we have the plus in between. So now let's make it one step trickier, okay? Let's do something like 4 plus 2y times an x. We're going to do the same process. We're going to take our x and distribute it across both these terms. So again, x times the 4 is our 4x. X times the 2y is the 2xy, or 2yx. And again, there's a plus in the middle, so we put the plus there. From the other side of this, and we have a minus 2y now. Again, x distributed across both terms, x times 4, 4x. Now we have that minus x times 2y, 2xy. Does it matter about the x and the y? Like I told y'all before, most of the time in mathematics, when you're working with variables, you always go from a to z in terms of which variable comes first. But no, it could be 2yx as well. Finally, I don't want you to get hung up if there's many variables in the equation that you're looking at. For instance, if we're going to go with a 2p times an xy minus a 3k, now you might be looking at that going, oh my god, there's all these variables, what does it mean? We're not solving for any of these variables right now, we're just distributing. So we're going to do it the exact same way we've been doing it before. We're going to take the 2p and distribute it across our two terms. So first term is an xy. So this just becomes 2pxy. We have the minus sign. Now we have a 2p and a 3k. 2 times 3 is 6. And then we have a p and a k, or a k and a p. Once we know what p, x, y, and k are, we'd be able to solve this problem. But for distribution, you're just taking the first term and distributing it across the other two terms. And then finally, we might see something that looks like this. 3x minus 2 times x plus 3. When we're going to simplify this, the first thing we're going to do is do the distribution property here. The 3x is just going to drop down. It's still 3x. It doesn't change. But now we have a negative 2 times x. So we have a negative 2x. And then we have a negative 2 times 3. And a negative 2 times 3 is a negative 6. So be careful of that sign there, because we're doing a negative 2 times 3 to get a negative 6. Now we can simplify that even further. 3x minus 2x is 1x minus 6. And that's the distribution property. So now I'm going to put down a few problems, if you can try them out, and we'll talk about them in class. Okay, so first we're going to do just a little bit of review, and I want you to try to simplify by adding like terms. So remember, we've been doing that the first couple days of school. So on these problems, we're going to add our like terms. We have 3xyz plus 2zxy minus 7 zyx plus 2xy. So I want you to give that one a try. And again, we'll talk about it in class. And then the other one I want you to try is 4x plus 3 minus 2xy minus 5x minus 7 plus 4yx. Again, I don't want you to get hung up on the variables. I want you to be looking for like terms and simplifying those equations. Then finally, I want to try to do a few distribution problems. The first one we'll try will be 7 plus x times 3. The next one, we're going to throw in a couple more variables. Again, don't get hung up on the variables. I want to do 3x times y minus 2m parentheses. And then the last one, 4a times, in parentheses, r minus 2k. So give those a try, and we will talk about those in class. All right, so have a great evening, and I look forward to seeing you.